NAMM show. Brad Talinsky with BackStory Events, and I have with me the great Reeves Gabrels, one of our most imaginative contemporary electric guitarists. How you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. That's
Reeves.
a kind way to put it. I've heard far worse. I've heard far worse descriptions than imaginative. So I'll take that.
Imaginative is pretty good. I mean, that's how I would like people to describe myself.
Yeah, fair enough.
Imaginative is better than the okay Reeves Gabrels.
Yeah. The sometime inspired is
Sometimes inspired. So, anyways, Reeves is currently playing with The Cure. We'll talk about that in a moment. But first, he's also playing Reverend guitars.
Yeah.
And, people are always used to guys playing the Gibsons, the Fenders, all that stuff. But there's so many other great brands out there and great guitar makers. And Reverend is one, and they're based out of Ohio. And I was just curious, Reeves, as to how you ended up. You could have any guitar that you want. Why did you end up with Reverend?
Well, after I quit Bowie in 2000, I had gone through I had Lyme disease. I found out I had Lyme disease. I thought I was just tired from 15 years with David and being on the road all the time. I thought it was extended jet lag, and it took a couple of years to get properly diagnosed. But actually, if you look at Daryl Hall, has been he's talked a lot about when he got Lyme disease and what it was like, and I kind of parallel him in terms of the time and everything else. But I pretty much was quiet for about 2 years, and I showed up at a NAMM show in Nashville after I moved to Nashville in 2006, and it was sort of like, where have you been? And it was nice enough that several guitar makers sent me guitars after the show, and they were all very high end and guitars to die for, basically. And while I was at the show, Reverend handed me one of their buckshot, what was called a buckshot, and it seemed like everything showed up at my house within a couple of days. So I don't want to mention the names of the companies, but they were all custom shop models and I was gigging a lot locally, and I kept taking the Reverend with me to gigs, or taking two of the guitars with me, but always taking the Reverend. And I discovered that I just like the Reverend. And I've also been a believer that guitars don't need to be expensive, like my favorite Gibsons were always Juniors and things like that, which were considered student models.
Those are all working man guitars.
Yeah. And Reverend fit in that working man's category, affordable, well-made instruments, and all the things that they did were things that I was doing the Fenders for years, like locking tuning machines, graphite nut, on guitars with Bigsby's, putting a roller bridge, or things to eliminate those tuning problems, and those are all stock on their guitars. And so then I talked to Joe Naylor and Ken, and they were like, "Oh, we'd love to do a signature model." So 2011, I did a signature model with them, and then when I joined The Cure, I realized that I needed something that was like more of a hollow, like a 335 with a Bigsby kind of thing. So I came up with a design for a guitar that would kind of, if you saw a picture of Vic Flick playing on a James Bond soundtrack in 1966, it wouldn't look out of place.
Yes.
But it was totally functional, and it basically a hollow body, semi-hollow guitar, but with no F-holes. And I knew that I could make. I spent a winter taking Bigsby's apart because I was always afraid of Bigsby's, because we've all worked on Fender style tremolos to make them work, but Bigsby was scary to me. So I took it apart and figured out there was nothing wrong with the mechanism. The issue was really the spring. So I did, taking a page out of Brian May's book, I went to a motorcycle shop and got some valve springs and a bunch of springs from everywhere, and I started switching springs, and I found a spring that was longer but softer. And I'd also done a duo record with Bill Nelson around that time, and I played his old 345, and his Bigsby would stay in tune, and it was softer from use. And so I found a spring that worked, FedExed it to Joe Naylor. He had found a guy that would duplicate it and make it was a little too skinny, so he made it the right diameter. And I can do, with that Bigsby, I can do like Jeff Beck flutters, or I can pull the G string up a fourth, stuff, all the things you're not supposed to be able to do with that. Yeah. And then this newest signature model is, I wanted, slang among me and my friends was, if they'd ask you what you used on a gig, and you'd say, oh, I dirt biked it, so we're calling this the dirt bike, but that
nice.
meant you had a one pickup guitar, a guitar cable, and an amp, no effects. And basically this is the same color as my Schwinn that I had when I was 10. They match the color, and it's basically a no frills, it's a custom, it's a signature model humbucker guitar that I'm a fan of. I've always been a fan of Steve Hunter and Dick Wagner, and I wanted something that had that sort of front end to the attack and was a little rude in the mid-range. And they were able to make a pickup that did that, but also sounds like piano strings when you play it clean.
Yeah.
And that's this guitar. So it's been about an 8-year relationship now. But I like guitars that don't. You're always dealing with the projection of from the audience point of view, the history of the instrument you're playing. You play a Les Paul, then you're dealing with that whole history. You play a Strat, it's Hendrix and Beck, and throughout my public time playing guitar, I played Steinbergers or I played Parkers. I like guitars that didn't have a history.
Yeah.
And
I mean, they have, as a guy that's always trying to create unique sounds, mm-hmm. it's almost harder. Like sometimes, like part of me doesn't want to play a Strat ever, mm-hmm. because that sound has so many associations.
Yeah, it's got a lot of weight that you have, the weight of history or of other iconic players, and you either look like you're aspiring to be like them, or
it's just hard to escape the sound. Like you play it sounds like Jimi Hendrix or Stevie Ray Vaughan or any of those things.
Yeah, maybe ideally one day when someone plays a Steinberger or a Parker or now a Reverend, that they'll have to deal with the fact that I played it.
I love the fact that you mentioned Hunter and Wagner. I wouldn't expect you to be a Hunter and Wagner guy.
No, those guys are just, the lyricism and the tone and I remember when I was a kid and I heard, I had the experience one morning in upstate New York of hearing, when I woke up in the morning to go to school, I turned the radio on and Rock and Roll came on from that album.
The greatest, maybe like up there with Good Vibrations or any other rock and roll single.
Yep.
It is the greatest guitar sound almost ever recorded.
And then not long after that, I heard Train Kept a Rollin'. Yes. And I thought to myself, oh, this must be a movement because people are all playing very similarly. And then I heard the Alice Cooper records, and then it was only a little bit, it was a lot later for Train Kept a Rollin', but a little bit later I found out that it was Hunter and Wagner on those records.
You got the great Lou Reed records too.
And that Train Kept a Rollin' is Hunter and Wagner. When I found that out, I was mad at Aerosmith for not making it clear, and happy that I was able to hear it.
I have a very long and funny story involving just that thing. I'll tell you later.
Yeah, being a Boston boy, that for a good chunk of my life, that was something you didn't bring up locally.
So anyways, of course you played with David Bowie for many years in Tin Machine, and you've worked on a lot of other really cool, interesting personal projects, but now you're playing with The Cure, and what challenge? What's the challenge of playing those songs for you?
I'm more of an improviser. I'm not a really good parts player, and I don't think. But I had played on a Cure single in '97 or '98, and I knew Robert, and Robert is he's on one of my solo records. He and I he sang on one, and on another one we wrote a song together for it, and we also did some music for the South Park guys, him and I and Jason, the drummer from the band. So he just, I guess there's something he likes in what I do, but half the night I'm playing, you have to play the parts, because the parts are, the audience is not just singing along with the vocals, they're singing the guitar parts, and it's not the type of music where if you screw it up, you can play a blues lick to get out of it. Yeah. You're basically exposed. They are signature licks. The band on stage knows, but 70,000 people know you just screwed up. So that was a little bit of pressure at the start, because I had an extremely short period of time to when I initially started with them. I was just going to play with them for the summer festivals, and then they asked me to join the band part of the way through it, and that was a dream come true. If Robert would ask me to join the Cure, I played with David for 15 years, and in the second half I was co-producing, and I think I co-wrote just like around 50 songs with him. Yeah. But even with that, in the late 90s, if Robert had asked me to join the Cure then, I would have joined the Cure then. So to be in my 50s and to be asked to join a band, I was just trying to figure out how to ride to my death with dignity. I wasn't planning on.
What do you think about Robert as a guitar player?
Robert is people don't realize how much of the guitars he played on those records, and most of them. And he's got a singular melodic sensibility, and in a lot of ways, playing with him, I look at my role in the band as sort of like the stretch of time where Neil Young had Nils Lofgren playing with him. Yep. Nils is technically maybe a superior player to Neil, and sounds like Nils Lofgren. Yep. But there's no reason for Nils to take the solo in Southern Man, because you got the guy right there. It's like a song like The Forest. I could imitate Robert, but I'm not in the band to imitate him. He said it as much. I'm there to be me in the band, and so I think Robert has got. What's interesting to me, being American, I've got this. There is always the American blues thing in the back of my head, and for them it's a European classical concept, or their fondness for American pop music, or even things like just modal Middle Eastern stuff, and which I like as well, and I've spent time working on that in my life, but you don't. I'm always waiting to go to the 5 chord to turn around to the 1, and their songs don't do that, and it's crept into my own songwriting. And
are you guys working on? Is there a new record? Is there new music?
There's stuff going on. It's sort of like being in Fight Club. We don't talk about what's going on, but there's always a bunch of stuff happening, and one of the nice things is we write, and we write together, and the camaraderie has been particularly sweet to me. Again, being in your 50s and discovering that first band sort of enthusiasm,
But also people have all grown out of being assholes together, maybe a little bit.
Yeah, there's of course, yeah. It's and because I intersected with them at certain points, I had a little bit of an understanding. Plus, we have a shared sense of humor, even though I'm American and they are decidedly not. I always, as Robert referred to me as their weird American cousin at one point. So,
have you sort of part of your signature has been, creating these weird new sounds and textures? Is there a cool pedal or is there a cool sound that you've come up recently that you're like, whoa, that's really interesting?
The new Source Audio Nemesis pedal is pretty outstanding and fits with my solo project stuff well, but it also fits in the Cure well. And the Alexander Flanger, but also the Alexander Sky-Fi, which is kind of it's a reverb-based pedal maybe, but it lets you do, you can do all kinds of harmonized reverbs and things, and it's got a hold. You can hold the reverb and then play over that, which is handy for me in a trio, but also I'm able to use it in the Cure. And Line 6 stuff, I got to say, there's always a DL4 on my pedal board, on every pedal board.
I've been digging what those guys from Strymon have been doing. I don't know if you've played through any of those.
I have, and I find that I tend to zero in on smaller boutique guys than them. And the other thing I've done is like my Spacehawk model with Reverend was I worked with those guys on that specifically with the Cure in mind, but also I have a signature model distortion pedal with Protone, which is called the Reeves Gabrels Distortion Engine, and that lets me get. I mean, it's a pretty covers a lot of ground, and it's basically they make two versions of it. The one I use is the Dual, which is just two identical pedals in one box. It lets you switch between. You don't stack them. There's plenty of gain. You don't need to stack them, but you can switch. You can switch between the two of them, so you can use it. One for a lighter gain, one for a more full-on like lead or sludgy power chord thing. But cool. A lot of what everything I do lately comes up with. I'm thinking about my solo stuff, and I'm thinking about will it work in the Cure, and
multitasking, I think the kids call it.
Yeah, maybe. It's a multiple application.
Have you get a chance to walk around the show at all? Have you seen anything cool?
I just got here this morning to walk around, so I've pretty much been at Reverend the whole day. But I was going to go look at the Max Watt amps, because the amps I use, I had been using 3 high watt 100 watts and 3 4x12s with the Cure, because we're not loud on stage. And but I've been, for the guitar pairing, for the stereo setup I use, there's a company called Audio Kitchen, which is a boutique company in England, and I know the guy that runs it because it's 16 or 17, he was a T-boy at the studio I was working out with David, and I gave him an amplifier that I had that was only worked on UK voltage, and we reconnected a couple of years, about 7 years later, when he said, that amp you gave me? I took that all apart and I figured out how to build amps. And I think the amps he built me are Class A, but 50 watts, but they run 3 KT88s. And they're, he just built one similar to it, I think, for Josh from Queens of the Stone Age. So that kind of tells you the ballpark that they fall in. But I'm definitely the resident rockist in the Cure.
Well, I thank you so much for stopping by.
I haven't seen you in probably 15 years, I don't think.
It's been a while.
Yeah.
It's good to know we're both
still alive and well.
We're both alive and well and standing somehow. Well, I can't wait to see you guys on tour.
Yeah. It's
Stop by New York City if you get a.
Yeah, well, we did do 3 nights at Madison Square Garden. They wanted us to do 5, but we didn't have enough time. But I think in 2018 I would watch for us. But I'll be playing in New York on July 20th at the Cutting Room with my
very
trio.
nice. I do a bunch of events out of there too, like interview events and stuff. It's a great venue.
Yeah, it's. I haven't played there. I'm looking forward to it. I hope we're not too loud.
The sound is spectacular there, really good. And Reeves is playing Reverend, and he's got his new signature model out here.
Yep.
You guys should go check that out at your music store.
Got a Wang bar.
It's got a Wang bar, man. How bad could it be? Okay, thank you, man.
My pleasure.
Appreciate it.
Put that back on the seat. Yeah, it's it might be the 22nd one later. I'm not sure. It's a Thursday night. So Monday's the 17th. Tuesday's the 18th. Wednesday is. Yeah. Well, whatever.
I'll be out there. I'll see you.
Yeah, if you want to come, let me know because we can put you on the list and stuff like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Groovy. Thank you. Hey everybody. That was Reeves Gabrels, who played with David Bowie and played in The Cure, among other things. And we're at the Nashville Summer NAMM. Next up, we have Mr. Vail Johnson from Valvetrain Amplifications.
All right.
Hey.
How's it going?
Good. How
All
you doing, Vail?
I'm doing well. How am I good with the mic here? Too close? Too far?
Nah, we got it all set up.
Oh, is this mic on? Okay, from the chick finger. You know, feedback.
Yeah, no,
Right into the wedge.
right there, you hear nothing.
Yeah, right.
So how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. Thanks.
What's your role at Valvetrain? What do you do? Over there?
Well, I play bass and I sing, and I'm using their amps. Their
That's
Brandywine amp. Their cool little bass rig, the all-tube bass rig that Rick Gessner put together, and we're working together. I'm giving him some ideas about some new things, and we're kind of going to make a larger version of that. That'll be good for the stage. You know, right now it's a great studio amp, and
Yep.
we're working for a stage version with a lot more power and
And doing a bass amp.
bass amp, right?
A bass amp.
That's his only all-tube bass amp, right?
Right.
Right.
So there's just a huge buzz about these guys.
Okay. Yeah.
You know, about this amp company,
Uh-huh.
about being one of the really cool boutique. You know, like if you really want that the best sort of quality studio sound, you go to those guys. I mean, what can you tell me about it? It's all American made, right?
Yeah, that's all American componentry. They source all the American stuff and make them in Florida, all handmade, hand-wired stuff, and it's great. Our guitar players, I work with Kenny G primarily. That's my regular gig. Been 30-something years now, and our guitar players using a couple of the I think 11-watt little combos. And they sound fantastic. It's just a killer sound, and the bass stuff is great. It's just a really great. For bass, it's a great pure, full sounding, setup. It's really a nice.
I mean,
sound.
so as a bass player though, like, like so many guys just go direct these days. Just
Right.
plug. I mean, what do you see as the benefit from having your bass amp versus going, say, directly in the board, just listening to it through the monitor? Do you still need to
Right.
have that amplifier there for you personally?
Yeah, well, as far as for live sound, I mean,
Yeah.
I always for the live concerts, I always have I have the rig for me because that's what sounds good to me,
Yeah.
But in the studio, typically I'll only use the mic signal. I don't really even use like the last record, my solo records that I did. It was all just with the mic cabinet.
Right.
And
right.
and it says it's just that there's a difference to the tone, and I know it's an overused term. The phrase "sits in the mix,"
Yes.
but it really does. There's something about it that just feels more full and just works better, with the rest of the instruments. So it's hard to describe. There's a million ways. People keep trying,
Yeah.
But I just love how it sounds, and just miking the cabinet,
Cool.
I love that, and I never do a direct and the mic, because then you have an infinite number of phase coherence problems that you can never get rid of. So it's one or the other. I think blending one of them in always introduces a phase problem, which I find to be a very unattractive sound.
So I mean, there are obviously so many amp companies out there, so many great mainstream and boutique guys.
Mm-hmm.
How did you come across these the Valvetrain guys?
Well, I met these guys a few years ago right here
Oh, cool.
at Summer NAMM.
Yep.
And I played this stuff and I said, man, this is killer. And he had just made a prototype of the bass amp at that point. And he asked me if I wanted to come on board and be, kind of help him represent that and use the equipment. And there you go.
I mean, what do you look for in your personal sound? You plug into an amp, and some people are attracted to different kinds of
Yeah.
not much top end, a lot of top end, that kind of thing.
Right.
You personally, what do you look for in a great bass tone?
Well, for me, I want it to sound like the bass that I'm playing. And I don't want it to really have a lot of its own coloration.
Yeah.
So for bass, and I know guitarists are a whole different breed in that way. And Rick has a bunch of different versions of his amps that all have a real coloration to it, which is great for guitar. For bass, I really want it to just sound like that instrument.
Yeah.
And most of the sound is in our hands, whether it's guitar or bass. It's mostly here anyway.
Yeah.
But for reinforcement of that, I want it to sound pretty much like what I imagine that I'm sending it from the bass.
And
so.
what kind of bass do you play?
I have quite a variety of different ones, like most guys do. I'm playing my Kubickies a lot more these days. Again, that was a custom bass back from the '80s, built by a guy named Phil Kubicki in California.
I do remember that.
The old Kubickies, with the tuners down here in the bridge and all that. And I've gotten back into using those again now. I probably stopped for 15 years, and I use my 62 Precision a lot. I love that bass.
Yeah.
You
can't beat that.
Yeah. And I've got a couple of Roscoes made in North Carolina that are fantastic instruments as well. I'm
a guitar player, so but for a brief period of time, I was playing a Steinberger guitar. What are those? But what are the ones with the sort of wings on it?
Okay.
But the one thing I loved about it was I love the tuners down here.
Yeah. I
mean,
like it too.
It made so much more sense in terms of if you're trying to tune in the middle of playing.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
you got your hand or your picking hand down here.
Yep.
Do a little that.
Exactly.
Go back up there.
Yeah.
Sort of wonder why more people don't
works.
do that. It does.
Yeah, I guess it's a hard thing to design. I think people just think it looks weird.
Yeah.
But you kind of have to be a little brave to play something that isn't just the normal.
So what projects are you currently doing now? Who are you playing with? Are you playing at the show?
I'm still touring with Kenny G. We play a lot. We'll be back. Start at the end of August, and we'll play all the way up through the first week of January, pretty much the whole time. And we do a lot of overseas stuff, but still playing here. And I'm doing my new record now with a great guitar player, Phil Kagi.
Phil is
Phil
amazing.
and I are doing a duet record. It's just guitar and bass.
Oh wow! Cool.
And nothing else.
Nice.
We're doing our loops, and it's like the bass and guitar both looping, and I'm playing rhythm parts, drum parts, all that stuff on the bass, and he does the same. And
All
it's really
you
crazy.
rock guitar players out there, you should definitely check out Phil Kagi.
Oh, he's ridiculous,
really,
man. He's ridiculous.
One of the most. I'm not going to say he's underrated, because anybody that knows Phil's playing knows that he's an amazing player.
Right.
But a lot of rock guys might not be familiar with him. But it's he's amazing.
Oh yeah. If you just find one. I've never heard anybody play a nylon string and play all these so many really fluid lines and complex fingerings, and there's not a squeak in there anywhere. he's so precise it kills me.
Yeah.
I'm sitting there waiting for it to squeak, and it never does, and I'm going, this guy's ridiculous, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, the lack of squeaking is loud, because you're used to it. Nylon string.
That should be the record.
Lack of squeaking.
Lack of squeaking.
I'll tell you really quick what I also work with Kebmo here in town.
Yeah,
we both
Kev.
moved from LA together, and he's not a bad guitar player.
No, he's pretty good.
But his thing real quick, the funniest quote he ever said to me was talking about drummers and bass players and the idea of playing behind the beat or rushing or dragging, all this stuff, and he's saying people say, well, you play behind the beat, to him, and he goes, no, it's not about playing behind the beat. What the groove is, the absence of rushing. Think about that.
I love that.
The absence of rushing.
Yes.
So there you go. The absence of squeaking. It all works. It's like subtractive EQ. Taking stuff away is sometimes better than adding something else.
But it's a great way to think about the blues in general, right?
Yeah, absolutely. The lack of rushing.
Lack of rushing.
He's not in a hurry. I'm going to get there eventually. Yeah, I ain't no hurry. They'll wait. Just play,
So if you had a chance to walk around with the assistance of your crutch around the show a little bit.
Yeah. I got a little bit of a knee maintenance that I just did.
Meniscus? Some meniscus?
Yes.
It's a little meniscus?
Yeah, I severed my ACL. And,
okay.
Yeah, that's a real major stuff going on there. So.
See, that's how you know you're really playing the bass well, is during the process you actually rupture your ACL.
Right. Yeah, I was kicking some rowdy guys in the front row,
I was playing some really rambunctious funk,
yeah, right.
and it just went.
Yeah, that'll do it. It's danger's.
Yeah,
you gotta be careful.
So what have you seen anything cool at the show? I should get back to the.
That's right.
Little detour there.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
So, but I'll be moonwalking again in about another 6 months. That's the plan.
Very good. Very good. Well, I thank you so much for stopping by and
Pleasure.
joining us. And
the absence of squeaking.
The absence of squeaking.
Phil Kagi.
Cheers.
All right, man. Thanks, bro.
Man. Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Yep.
All right. That was fun. Actually, Guitar World back in 25 years ago, I got voted best jazz bass player by their readers poll. That's my only connection with Guitar World things. But I think it was because Robert Trujillo was a proponent of mine, and he was big back then. And so the readers went, oh, well, he likes him. He must be good. Yeah, right.
Either that or you're like, how many votes can it take?
Yeah, back when you could hang it. It was the Russians. They hacked it for me.
Will you sit back a little bit in your chair?
Okay.
Just a little bit.
Okay.
All right, thanks, you guys.
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. We're here at the Nashville NAMM. I've been told to sit back a little bit more in my chair, so I'm gonna try to do that. And who's our next victim that we have? Oh yeah, hey Andrew, how's it going?
It's good, man.
We have with us today Andrew. Andrew Swovine from
Sovine.
Sovine. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
no worries.
Andrew Sovine.
Yeah.
With Swope Guitars.
I'm here with Swope today. Yeah.
Yes. And so, what brings you to the Nashville NAMM show?
Well, I grew up here. I've been going here. I've been coming to these shows since before they left, and now that they're back, and
Yes.
it's great. No, just seeing friends and kissing rings and whatnot.
Playing some guitar?
No, not really.
No.
But
You're just-
checking out some amazing guitars.
Yes.
So yeah.
Why aren't you playing any of the guitars?
I can't play flashy enough.
You don't have to worry about that. Muddy Waters didn't play all that flashy.
He didn't play at NAMM.
He got. That's true.
It's fair. It's fair. I don't know fancy licks. So
Nah, it's okay.
The guitar store.
I know 3 of them.
Well, that's
So I can actually go and function at NAMM.
yeah. You can do that. You can
flashy.
demo guitars.
So tell me a little bit about the Swope guitar.
Okay,
I'm not
well,
that familiar with this brand.
Well, I've had 3 of them. I do not work for the company, but I'm with them today.
Yeah.
A guy named Chris Swope, who worked at Gibson Custom Shop, worked at Sadowski for a long time. This is his handmade creation. This is one of the models he makes. It's called the GTO.
Cool.
Hand wound.
I love that color.
The finish is great.
The finish is great, and I like the clear knob too. It's cool.
Yeah. It has a. Let's see if we can do this. It's push pull knob here.
Oh, nice.
On the tone, and turns it into like a humbucking parallel 3-way switch. And the pickups are his own design. Alnico 5 magnets, very unique sounding. So much so that it's a very specific sounding guitar, and it's not a Telly, it's not a Les Paul, not a Junior. You have to just take that into consideration.
Yeah.
It's a very unique, great sounding guitar. Wilkinson bridge, solid piece of work. Neck's great. And everyone. He's got a few other models at the booth, but this is the one I'm more familiar with.
Well, that's really part of a trend, I think, these days. It's like a lot of people are more interested, it seems, in getting their own sound necessarily, rather than copying Jimi Hendrix or whomever for the umpteenth time.
Right.
And I think that's a super healthy trend.
I agree. You were talking to Reeves earlier.
Yes.
We've had many conversations about that over the years, he and I, about just, okay, there is a way that everyone's done it. You can go that way if you'd like to. But having your own sound and having your own stamp on things, it's sometimes the better move in the long run, I think. So, and I think a lot of builders are catching on with that. And I think a lot of the bigger companies have caught on to the fact that small builders are, not trying to build a Strat, not trying to build a Les Paul or whatever. But yeah, you should definitely check this one out if you can.
I think like the new generation of players are a little less invested in the history. They're looking forward. They want to push that envelope a little bit.
I think one of the problems or one of the reasons is it's really hard to afford those historical instruments. I mean, the way the vintage market is, and even the way that the replica market is, it's hard for a working musician to be able to justify dropping $3,000 or $4,000 on a to 59 specs Les Paul,
right,
when you can get something that's not going to cost the same as a used Honda and does basically the same job, and maybe a little different, and maybe a little better suited for your tastes. So,
well, you said that it has a very specific sound and sounds different, but you enjoy this guitar. Tell me a little bit about the kind of music that you do play and how you use it.
Okay. Currently, my main gig, I work for a country artist out of Nashville named Ashley McBride, and it's a band. It's not your typical artist gig. It's been the same band for about 5 years. We work on all the songs, arrange the songs together, and one of the beautiful things about that is I'm not beholden to someone else's tone on the record. I don't have to copy all the parts.
Right.
I'm writing the parts. I don't have to. And so it has allowed me to branch out and find, okay, well, what's that? What is the amp I want? What is the guitar sound I want? What's the actual overdrive or fuzz tone I want? And what's great about this specific guitar in that format is it can easily do the Richard Thompson sort of sound, punchy, stratty kind of sound, but turn a couple of fuzzes on and throw a delay and an octave pedal, and it sounds like the end of the world, and it works just as well in that world, So
Yeah.
it's I like exploring the sonic space more than I
Cool.
do just playing straight ahead, huge
Yeah.
pedal board situation, and this works really well. But I've done a couple of jazz gigs on it, just plug straight into a Princeton, and it works fine there too. So
That's awesome.
pretty versatile.
So who are some of the who are some of the players that you look up to?
Reeves is a big one. Yeah, he's I blame him for a lot of my bad habits. There's a lot of contemporary guys. There's a few guys in Nashville. Jim Oblon, Tom Britt
Yeah.
is really great. I grew up on the I grew up on the older like 60s, 70s guys, like all the Hendrix stuff, all the Zeppelin stuff. I mean, that's where I started. And by reading a lot of your articles, actually, just like and stuff that you featured over the years when I was growing up, guys like that,
That was my thing. I was all about corrupting youth.
You did a very good job.
Turn people into musicians.
Oh,
how
yes.
dare me?
Oh yes, oh yes. Yeah, having them learn how to read music on the weekends. No,
Yeah.
I don't know what you were thinking there. No, it's the typical stuff. I grew up doing a lot of country and bluegrass though, so like Tony Rice, Vince Gill, Don Rich, and Buck Owens.
It's such a
all
great
those guys.
combination of things. I mean, it's interesting because it also, as well as playing guitar, I play violin and mandolin.
Oh, okay.
And I actually taught at a folk and bluegrass store for a couple of years,
yeah.
So it just teaches you so much about different ways of approaching chords and harmony.
I totally agree.
That even if you're playing in a rock context,
Yeah.
it helps just bring a whole different thing to your.
I totally agree.
your playing.
And I grew up playing banjo as well as and
right.
dobro, and like I did a lot of acoustic stuff. And so yeah, I think you're right. I used to be in this dance rock band, and my favorite thing to do was I had a old Hamer Phantom. You remember those?
Nice.
The Andy Summers model. And I had it set up to float, pull it up a minor third even. And I would still do that, but I'd still do the chicken picking licks over that with the stereo rig and all that. And it's just
Well, I mean,
interesting.
talking about something like Led Zeppelin, I mean, there you go.
all over the map. Yeah.
Yep, all over the map,
Yeah.
and it made the music that much richer for
Yeah.
it. Just one last question, I'll let you go. Walking around the show, you see anything cool, anything interesting?
Oh, there's some very interesting and cool things. Right next to the Swope Guitars booth, right back there, there's I think it's a company from Croatia called Plus Electronics. They have a sustain pedal designed for guitar that just loops layers on top of layers, and you can go completely wet. Real cool if you're doing like the solo looping show, like Sonic soundscape kind of thing. Then my buddy Nick Greer, Greer Amps, has got some great pedals, great amplifiers over there. Really amazing optical compressor he just came out with for this show, and I think sounds amazing. Sounds great. T-Rex, have you seen the new Replicator single head delay?
I have not had a chance.
I was a big fan of the 3-head one they had out a few years ago. And tap tempo tape delay, what could you not love about that? Well, they kind of trimmed some things down, and they have the new one out right now, and it's over at the booth, and it might be a game changer for a lot of us.
So a lot of people out there in guitar world are watching right now. If they want to hear examples of your playing, I mean, is there a place where they can hear you?
You can get on. You're on YouTube later. Get on YouTube. Look up Ashley McBride. AshleyMcBride.com. That's who I play with. AndrewSovine.com. If you want to get on there, just Google me. I'm pretty easy to find.
Yeah.
You'll probably find my phone number. Call me. We'll talk. Those things. I'm around.
Awesome.
I haven't looked at Sound Exchange in a while, but I think there's still some records out there that I played on. So.
Okay. Well, that's cool. Well, thanks for
Brad.
stopping by.
Appreciate
I really
it, man.
appreciate it. Yeah.
It's not an honor. Truly.
Andrew Sovine, Swope Guitars. We're here at the Summer Nashville NAMM, and our next guest is Nick.
Federico. Or Nick Fed.
Fetter. Nick Fed.
Yeah.
Okay, Nick. What's going on with you? What brings you to the Summer NAMM?
Oh man, this is my first summer NAMM, and it's wild. I'm here with Waits Instruments, who built me this custom guitar that I am showing off right here.
That's freaking cool.
Yeah, do you want to check it out?
Well,
You kind of got your hands full.
no, I'll let you tell me a little bit about it.
What I like about this is when Matt and I got talking about him building me a guitar, I said, a lot of my playing is I change my sound just with my volume knob, just with how hard I'm hitting it. I want something that's really dynamic and really easy to play. This has got bare knuckle pickups in it. It's got some wiring tricks between the volume and the tone so that I can roll it off, and not only do I get like 5 levels of volume and different sounds, but it doesn't lose the high end. It doesn't get all muddy.
I got you.
Couldn't be happier, really. It's the nicest guitar I have.
What's the deal with this business here?
So this actually, if we have a 1/4-inch cable, I can demonstrate, but it lights up with the guitar manufacturer logo, WI Waits Instruments, if you plug it in. So it's really got to be seen to be believed. I'm sure someone has a 1/4-inch around here somewhere, right?
It seems like it's summer NAMM. It seems like there would be a 1/4-inch somewhere around here, but I don't know if we have one. Maybe while we're talking, somebody will go dig around.
Somebody go get a 1/4-inch. Awesome, thank you. And you're Brad, right?
Yes, I'm Brad.
I'm really excited to be here, man. I mean, I read Guitar World as a teenager. I learned so many riffs from that. So being here is just.
I pride myself on corrupting many young people. I'm like Socrates that way. I'm all about corrupting the young and turning them into musicians.
Well, there's no hemlock here. They are serving Jack and Cokes, but no hemlock.
Oh, look at this. Ta-da!
All right, we have a 1/4-inch. So let's see.
Oh, look at that, look at that, look at that. Here, unplug it. Now plug it in.
I'm not this adept.
Did you catch that? Did you catch that? Okay. Very nice.
Thank you,
it's
1/4-inch runner.
It's really good, like especially if you're practicing in a dark room somewhere and you need a night light.
That's definitely one advantage of it. Like I'll practice in my apartment late at night and I'll be able to see what my fingers are doing, and it just looks cool.
Yeah.
I mean, I get inspired by the way the lighting is. You know, you're in a dark room and you got a little bit of glow. You feel like you're an alien or you're a wizard when you're playing the guitar, so it's pretty nice.
An alien or a wizard. That's
Sometimes
how
both.
I want to feel when I'm playing the guitar.
Sometimes both. Sometimes an alien or a wizard.
An alien wizard. So you obviously play guitar.
Yes.
And are you recording? Are you playing with the band? Are you working on any new projects? What's going on?
So this is wild. I live in Cincinnati. I'm teaching guitar. I'm doing some video editing for everyone from United Methodist organizations to Levy's Leathers. And they've got a big booth down there. I've got to go over and say hi to my friends there.
Yeah.
But I'm living in Cincinnati, and I'm doing this kind of meandering lifestyle so that I can make the music I love with my friends and play a lot of different styles. I mean, I've got a reggae-ish project going called Jam Wave right now. Victor Spoils is probably the most active. We're kind of old school Foo Fighters, Gin Blossoms, 90s rock. We're doing a lot of touring where we'll go around the breweries and play and entertain people and get to try new beer, so that's really fun. We've got a dancey project called Banter going. Who else? Oh, the big thing that's been fun this year is playing. I've gone to open mics and made new friends, and I befriended this guy in a band called St. Lennox out in New York, and he does it all on his laptop. But when he has shows, it's not exciting to just see a guy with a computer. So drums, bass, guitar. I've been a hired gun for him, and I got to do South by Southwest in March. I got to do Nelsonville Music Festival in June, and we're plotting some further world domination in the coming months. So that's cool.
So you're the excitement factor.
I'm the excitement factor. I mean, God help us if I'm the excitement factor, but I guess that's the idea.
Mr. Excitement. I can see it now.
Mr. Excitement. It's coming alive. I mean, I need some more of that hemlock, aka Jack and Coke, and I can bring the excitement.
So if somebody wants to go and see your work, is there on YouTube or anything? Is there something special that they should
look up? Nick the Fed, all one word. There's not a lot of Nick Federincos. There's at least one other. I haven't met him. I don't know if I have to fight him or anything, but there's not a lot of Nick Feds. I guess there was a wrestler in the 80s or something, but if you Google Nick Fed, look up Jamwave, Victor Spoils, St. Lennox, Minus Frank, Acting Class, Nick Fed, Suburban Mitts, Captain Geach and the Shrimp Shack Shooters. I mean, there's all there's a myriad of music out there that I'm participating in, and I'm looking to. I love playing with different people and helping other people learn music, and just it's a hell of a ride. I mean, I didn't think that my 30 years old would be as cool as it is right now. So
I think basically they should just look up Alien Wizard. I think you need to hurry up and grab that URL.
I actually, so in the age of iPhones, you can put like a lot of ideas that would have been lost in the past. Now you can literally pick up your phone and say, Siri, make a note, Alien Wizard. And it's there. I mean, I'm looking for titles for the next solo EP I'm going to do. Maybe Alien Wizard is a hell of a title. If it's not already claimed by like a John Petrucci side project or something.
I don't think so. I think Alien Wizard, I haven't heard it. I'm plugged in. I sort of know.
Alien Wizard, man.
So give us a plug about your this guitar again, what model it is. And
this is the Waits Instruments OPIC 001 Nick Fed signature. It has a roasted maple neck. It has, Matt, what's the body?
It's a
Honduran mahogany body, bare knuckle pickups, special sauce on the tone and volume wiring. Huh? Born seal pots. I embarrass Matt all the time by like not knowing my gear.
You can tell we're a
yeah.
real professional outfit.
We're a very
here.
professional outfit here.
We've got these guys over here, just
Brad,
shouting stuff.
Actually, I need to ask you, like, am I supposed to be looking at you or at the camera? Like, no one told me. I'm kind of like trying to do both and trying to do everything to everybody, and it's just, yeah.
We're just looking to make you look as awkward as possible, so we're not going to tell you where to look.
You don't have to work very hard. I mean, you kind of got the raw material just right here.
Right. Well, anyways, Nick, it's been fun, and I appreciate you stopping by. And,
thank you so much, and keep doing good work. Keep corrupting the youth with music and good interviews, and I really believe that, I mean, I learned a lot from Guitar World. I really do think music is an important thing. The world's really divided. It's easy to be at each other's throats, but I look at my friends who are like completely different politically from me, completely different background from me, and it's like, if a guitar is there, we're getting along and we're seeing the best of humanity. If there's beer there, we're seeing even more of the best of humanity. So
I love you, man.
I love you too. Brad, thanks for having me, dude.
Thanks, Nick.
I'll see you around.
Okay, cheers. Hello, we're here at the Summer NAMM, and I think we're going to take a break for a few minutes. We'll be right back with you. Hang in there. We'll talk to you soon. Bye.
Thanks so much, man. We really appreciate it. Dude, thank you for what it's worth. I have a subscriber since March of 1998. Oh, yeah. So, absolutely. Yeah, that was the beginning of my part, too. I still help people from my part. Thanks, and I still have so I'm a music That was great. That was so much fun. You did awesome. Yeah, and you look cool. Like, how do you look so cool? Like, can you teach me? Because, like, my wife is always looking like, you're
it's just natural.
look.
You can't look this cool.
Like, I try to look cool, and then I got this. I always find that the bird skull belt helps. Does that help? But you're seriously looking at an entire generation of people making music, and you were a big part of that. Oh, yeah. So I hope you understand how much it means for us. I learned my first pentatonic skills. Yes. Earlier. Last year. You mind if I get a picture of you?
Hey, Mark, would you be willing to get a picture of the whole team?
Have a seat. That's your mic. Make sure it's close up.
Mm-hmm.
Hey everybody, we're back. Brad Talinsky here with BackStory. We're at the Summer Nashville NAMM, and our next guest we have with us is Richard Forham from the band The Vagabonds. And I guess first, just tell me a little bit about your band and what's going on with it right now.
We are kind of a Southern rock Americana style band.
Yep.
We're constantly touring. We've been together for about 8 years, and we are currently working on a new record.
What's the roughest gig that you've played? Come on, you're constantly touring in the South. There must be.
There have been a few.
There have been some tough places.
Yeah, I don't want to call anybody out, but lots of dive bars early on.
Have you ever had to use your guitar as protection?
Luckily, no.
No flying shot glasses or anything like that.
No.
So anyways, you play Heritage guitars.
Mm-hmm.
What did you find cool about them? What?
It's everything you love about a Les Paul, only better. It's just better quality.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
we got one right over here.
Oh, let me see. It is a beauty.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a little bit of that. It's got a little bit of that Les Paul weight to it, but
For sure.
yeah. But so you say it sounds like a Les Paul, but only better in what kind of way?
Well, I mean, it's the company, is it's based in Kalamazoo, Michigan, where
Yeah.
Gibson was before they moved to Nashville.
Yeah.
And so the company was started by some of the old Gibson employees that didn't want to relocate.
I gotcha.
So they know how to make this guitar.
Yeah. I think Alex Skolnick from Testament plays a Heritage on.
He does.
And he's always telling me how much he loved that instrument too. Yeah.
Yeah, they're great.
So I don't know who are some of the people that you base the band off. I see you've got Allman Brothers band button on right now. You're a big fan of those guys.
Absolutely, they're my all-time favorite band.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you do the slide guitar thing or?
Yeah, I do some slide stuff, but I'm more of a Warren Haynes slide player than a Dwayne player. Yeah, I'm a standard tuning slide player.
Yeah. I can never. Whenever I go into like open E or open A, I completely lose my bearings. I mean, I know it's like easier in terms of playing chords and stuff, but for playing lead, like, yeah. So are you guys gigging around the show at all? You playing around here today?
We are. We're playing tonight at Acme Feed and Seed, just down the street from the show.
Awesome.
From 8 to 10.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
And you said that you're originally the band originally from Alabama.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
And why'd you come up to Nashville?
Well, we started in a college town in Auburn, Alabama, and we got to be kind of the old guys in town. Auburn didn't really have a lot more to offer us.
Yeah.
And Nashville was fairly close, and it's obviously a great place for music.
Well, this town is exploded like in the last 3 or 4 years, right?
Yeah, we got here 5 years ago, right at the beginning of that.
Yeah.
And it's just been exponential.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a lot of great places to play here.
There are.
Yeah,
Absolutely, yeah.
So, are you guys? You have a new record? Are you?
Yeah, we're supporting our current record now. It came out last year. It's called What We're Made Of, and we're working on a new one.
Cool. How far along in the process are you that?
We've got a few songs recorded and done. We're taking a little different approach this time. Normally, we've done all our recording pretty much in a big block of time, and now we're going in when we can, like between gigs, you know.
So if anybody wants to, check you out, like the Guitar World readers that may not be familiar with your band or your music, I mean, is there a cool YouTube video or a song that you think that they should check out that you're proud of, that you're playing? And
Yeah, there are a few live videos of us playing. One, The Hammer, is one of our songs. I like my playing on that one. That's a fun one to play. And also, a music video for our song Oh My Lord is on YouTube. Check that out.
do you stretch out? Like, are you a jam band in that sense?
Not really. We do some of that live, but we're not like the. When you think of a jam band, what you see in your head is not exactly what we are.
Yeah.
Like, that's how I grew up, but I'm just part of the whole band puzzle.
Yeah,
just
yeah,
one
yeah,
piece
yeah.
of that in there.
Yeah. So you guys are more song oriented.
Yeah.
Cool.
Song oriented with the ability to jam if we want to.
So have you had a chance to walk around the show at all?
I have, yeah.
And
lots of cool
do
stuff.
you see anything cool besides your heritage guitars?
Oh, absolutely. Seen Eastman guitars and Supro amps.
Oh yeah. The Supros are nice, right?
Yeah, I used those on our European tour recently.
Oh, you did?
They're great, yeah.
Which one did you use?
I used the Trimoverb and the Thunderbolt.
Cool. Do you use both of those on the? How do you have your rig set up?
I set it up with an AB switcher.
Okay, right.
And I used the Thunderbolt for rhythm, and then I would use both amps for lead.
Nice. Nice. Well, I really appreciate you coming down and joining us and talking about heritage. I think that it's one of those. Heritage is one of those great brands that people aren't aware of, but I know a lot of great players that own them and really enjoy them.
Great
So
handmade
check that
stuff.
out, and check out your band on YouTube. What's the name of your band again? I'm sorry.
The Vagabonds.
The Vagabonds. Okay. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay.
Appreciate it.
Thank you, Richard.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll take this.
Good?
Yep, we're all good. Hey everybody, Brad Talinsky here, BackStory at the beautiful Nashville Convention Center, Nashville NAMM show, and we have our next guest, Mr. Doug Wimbish.
Right here.
Yes, sir.
Live in living color, right here.
Right here. Have a seat. Oh my God, look at what you got here. I love this thing. It's got some.
See, that's
This is what's called playing on the road, being a professional musician.
yeah. This is definitely about that, or professional trying to be pro.
Doug, you got to get the microphone up.
All right, that would be nice if I was talking into this microphone.
You can tell he's a bass player, not a vocalist.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Brad, it's a pleasure meeting you, man.
Oh, I've seen you play many times over the years, Doug.
Thank you very much. Thanks, man. It's a pleasure to be
Fantastic.
here, and thanks to Laura for organizing all of this, and all you lovely fans out there. Much love.
So, what brings you down to Nashville NAMM? Are you located down here these days?
No, actually, I'm based out of Connecticut.
Okay.
You know, but I like to come here for the good food and the good music whenever I can, off the grid.
Yeah.
And I've been coming here for many years, and recently I've been blessed to be able to come back more frequently over the last 5 years. Now that you have a city winery here,
Yeah.
and things are expanding a little bit more, Summer NAMM, It's great to come on a Friday before Saturday comes, before all the madness comes.
Yeah.
But no, it's a great city. It's expanding, getting much bigger.
And what's
We love
really
it.
nice about this Nashville show is I feel like, you know, sometimes the LA one could be a little overwhelming. There's almost too much stuff, and everybody's too busy to sort of talk. And here, it's a little smaller. It's a little more manageable. You can actually play the instruments and not feel rushed and talk with the people a little bit more. I mean, I think it's
I couldn't agree with you more, Brad. I think this is more organic. If I have to use the word organic, you know, yes, I'm using it, organic, for all you kale heads out there. But you know, it's just you get a chance to, you know, it's not so big as you said. You have the opportunity to actually sit and chat to some folks. Until Saturday comes, then it starts to swell up a little bit. But you know, it's a comfortable environment, and there's nothing like the barbecue that takes place after the NAMM show, which is very
always
excellent.
like the barbecue here in Nashville. So what's going on? You're playing with Living Color. You guys are gigging again?
Yes, we've been. You know, we completed I guess it's our 6th record. It's entitled Shade. It's going to be dropping September 8th. We basically had an idea to kind of like explore the blues a little, and kind of re-engineering it with a Living Color twist to it. This all started when we had the opportunity to play at Robert Johnson's 100th birthday celebration at the Apollo Theater. We were asked to perform Preachin' Blues, and it just went over so well. It gave us a boost of fresh air for the band.
Yeah.
It's like a booster shot.
Yeah.
And then we started asking the question, how would it be if we were to do a blues kind of themed record, but not necessarily diving into the deep blues, making the association of blues and its DNA across many different genres of music. How rock has been influenced by blues, hip hop, soul, funk. I can go on and on. So we were like, let's see what we can do to have a story and a conversation. And we did, and we succeeded in being able to put together a nice package, which will be coming out again September 8th on Megaforce Records. And I'm very thankful that we had the opportunity to explore the blues and give it a connection to us individually as a band, us individually as musicians, and to kind of find out where the roots to that tree goes in 2017. See how it's been connected to us and to the world.
You know, recently I, looking through YouTube like we all do, and you just come across so many really interesting things that, and one video that I came across recently, and I was sort of hypnotized by it, was one of Willie Dixon just playing upright bass solo, where you could really hear him play and the tone of his instrument and how good his intonation was on that.
Unbelievable.
So, going back into the blues, were there bassists from that genre that you went back and reviewed or listened to and said, wow, they're really doing something interesting, with my instrument? So people always focus on the guitar when it comes to the blues, but I mean, there's so many great blues bassists too, and great walking blues bass lines and all that stuff.
Well, it's great you mentioned Willie Dixon, all the stuff that he did throughout the years, the Chess Records, and him as an artist, as a producer, as a writer, and being able to give us the solid fundamentals of and the confidence of what was going on through his instrument. He kind of it just translated on everything he did. He had the look, he had the sound, he had the feel, and he came at a perfect time in life to be able to bless us with his frequencies. And for me, as where I am right now, 2017, I needed to hear the records that he did and the stuff that was taking place in Chicago, and all the information that was being passed down through let's just take Chess Records, which is one flower,
and then listening to all the Delta blues, Mississippi blues. It's fascinating. So for me personally, the journey never stops. I've always been close to the blues. There's a record that I did with a group called Little Axe a few years ago.
Yeah.
And again, we were exploring the idea of how to keep blues in a now frequency,
Yeah.
because it's always got its original connection to where it comes from. But we always need to be able to find a way to honor and breathe some new oxygen into it, and also let it flower and just grow into the atmosphere, flow into the atmosphere like it should. So Willie Dixon, you couldn't pick a better person to say was, in my opinion, one of the godfathers of blues bass.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
Yeah.
In my
Yeah,
opinion.
no, and like I said, sort of the revelation of that video is, as much as I've always appreciated what Willie's done and his contributions as writing so many blues standards and classics.
Yeah.
And I knew he played on all these sessions, but they just showed him playing this live, nobody else, just him playing bass, and I was just sort of blown away by it, because the tone, the actual tone he was generating, and how great his intonation was, and all that technical stuff too. That gets talked about less, him as a bass player.
Well, it's good we're talking about that, because when you listen to the records that came out at that time, records that were made with wax and oil, and the tones that were coming out, and then you listen to the music and how it's coming out now, even with all the electronics and the possibilities to be able to enhance certain things, there's something about the shape of the note with the assistance of oil, wax. When I hear a record, I feel differently than when I hear something that's digital.
Yes.
So the idea that we live in a digital world, I still find myself in a very analog world, and I always go back to the reference of things like Willie Dixon, like the Delta Blues, and also the great records that came from other folks before me, listening to Willie and listening to Howlin' Wolf, Muddy Waters, and being able to try to reenact that.
Well, even Robert Johnson was somebody who played bass lines while he was playing his guitar lines. I mean, it's in his own really interesting, sort of idiosyncratic way too.
Well, it's almost like they're accompanying themselves.
Yeah.
With the, not only can you hear bass, you're hearing percussion, you're hearing the chord patterns, you're hearing the rhythm. So a lot of things are happening simultaneously, and it's interesting because when you watch the artist performing now, when you look back and take a glimpse back, and you see how minimal it was, but also how much feel and frequency went into an idea without any frills. There was no setup, there's no, oh, we got to do this and that. Nope. Plug in and play. That's 100% real music at its core. So for me, like you, when I go to YouTube and I look at certain things that I see, living in 2017 and going back to stuff from the 50s, 40s, 30s, or whatever, I'm drawn more to the idea of how simple things were, but also how you had to live it. You had to be a part of that scene in that world, and everything that was going on in that landscape created what we call the blues.
Yeah, I mean, we as musicians, we go through that period, right, of like, we're learning and we want to get really great at our instrument, and because we're more immature, we just think about it, the notes and the technique and the this and that. But what's amazing about those original blues recordings is that you could see that there's also power and simplicity.
Yes.
How really, I won't go as far to say, because there's plenty of great musicians that can play a million notes and sound great, but there's also potential for just one chord to have as much power as 10 chords sometimes.
Well, that's
and
great.
then you learn that,
Well, you know, it's
from that.
interesting. What we're talking about really is the shape of the note. And if you listen, how I translate it is like, it's like there's a shape that comes with each human being's frequency of how they apply themselves to their instrument.
Right.
So when you hear Willie Dixon, he hits one note or he plays a few changes or whatever, you know, that's Willie Dixon. Now you can fast forward that frequency to something that's going on right now, and there's still these shapes of the notes are always with you, and it gives a person an identity. And again, blues was that blueprint that was able to have taken place where not only was the bass player needed the drummer to be able to vibe off of. The shape of his notes was important to give the bass player the feel. The piano player, you know, being involved in how a trio creates music. Add a horn player, you know. So now I look back and I go, okay, I look at the blues and we can't talk about the blues without talking about New Orleans, you know, where in my opinion is where, you know, at the mouth of the Mississippi River is where things started to happen and then move north. So the culture came from, there's African roots that comes from there, there's the oppression that took place from slavery that was coming out in the music. So it was the reflection of their life came out in the songwriting and in the atmosphere and in the attitude. But there was a shape of the note that, in my opinion, that people had that was their thing.
Yeah.
You know, they were paid from the spirit and the blessing. Money may not have flowed, but the actual gift of the spirit and was what everybody was kind of like going for and was able to tap into. And to me, that's more powerful than anything. So Willie Dixon, all the stuff that took place, what we call blues, you know, whether you're looking at, you know, a second line marching band, you know, a funeral march in New Orleans, or if you're looking at right now what's taking place from what Muddy Waters did, from what, you know, all the great artists and how they influenced folks like the Rolling Stones, Eric Clapton, all the English lads that were able to take the DNA from that, reconfigure it a little bit, and off you go. They got weighed in. You know what I mean? They were blessed with the economics of it, but the spirit of it, it's right there. It's still there in the root, and we're blessed to be able to have those artists in our, you know, and to be able to have that recorded. Leadbelly, in our lifetime, you know, Little Walter, in our lifetime, to be able to help shape what became jazz, what became, you know, what Miles Davis was listening to, Herbie Hancock, you know, and that moved forward into each decade, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s.
Did you ever hear that soundtrack with Miles and John Lee Hooker playing together?
I have.
And that shows you, like more graphically than anything, that connection from the most profound, simple root to that expression taken out in the most furthest outer space.
Very good example.
And how those things all fit together.
You know,
that's a beautiful record.
It's so good. But you know, again, right now here we are.
Which is what I'm assuming is going to happen with Living Color. I mean, we're gonna get some of the roots, but we're gonna get some of this out there too.
What we did was we didn't want to go back and say, okay, we're going to do a blues record and then re-tap in and do other things that have already been done. We wanted to make the connection between blues and all styles of music, from R&B to hip hop, whether it's the storyline. We did a song called Who Shot You, which is a Biggie Smalls song. We were like, how do you make the connection of blues to his song? Well, it's the story of what he was saying, and it's the stories that take place in a lot of music. We're in Nashville. Nashville is known, country western, and great songwriters and the stories that take place in the songs and themes. So our idea was, let's see if we can re-engineer it a little bit.
Waylon Jennings, there's a great quote. He said that country music are the dreams of the working man.
Yes, I like the way he's. It's very well put. Yeah. You know, I just think that now we're in a good day and age. Let's keep it rolling. Music is beautiful, and again, Living Color will be releasing Shade.
This is
September
this is
8th.
really exciting.
Megaforce. It's a blues-based kind of record, but we re-engineered the blues. Check it out. I know you might hear it on the 8th and forget it by the 10th, but hopefully between those 48 hours, you'll have a good time. Peace and love.
Thank you so much, Doug. I
You're
really
welcome.
appreciate it.
Hope I wasn't babbling too much, but there you have it. That's the best I can muster together right now. That's the best I can muster together. Thanks, man. Thank you, brother.
Brad Talinsky here from the Nashville NAMM show, Summer Nashville NAMM show, the sultry Summer Nashville NAMM show. And we're going to bring in a new interviewer. I'm going to be replaced. And in a couple of guests coming up very soon. Come on up. Introduce yourself to our audience here.
Hi, Brad. I'm Jenna Paone. I'm with the Women's International Music Network and psyched to be here at NAMM. And I'm also a songwriter and artist myself.
Well, you're strong enough. You can hold the mic.
Thanks, Brad. Hi, everyone. I'll be taking over for Brad for the moment for BackStory and representing the Women's International Music here at Summer NAMM 2017. Right now I've got Cora Perry next to me, fantastic guitarist, songwriter, musician, vocalist, and she just performed earlier today on the NAMM main stage. So thanks for being here, Rose. How you doing?
Such an honor to be here. This is our first time at any of the NAMM. So
welcome.
And we're Canadian. And
so you made the trek all the way down here to Nashville, Tennessee.
It's only 12 hours. Come on now.
No big deal.
So
we do worse, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that's rock and roll, right? That's the tour life. That's how it works. You got to be used to those long road trips, and totally worth it. What an honor to be up there on that stage.
Well, you did a great job earlier. In case you missed her, set was rocking. She was tearing it up. I think the city of Nashville had no idea what to expect. They're used to hearing that
country
the acoustic
twang.
country twang, and she got up there and she totally killed it, owned the stage.
There was a bit of palm muting, a bit of chugging. I mean, we are a rock band. We're
I loved
Canadian.
it. No,
Come
I
on now.
I really liked it though. I like ballsy female musicians. And
Nice.
It was good to see one up on stage.
High five.
Oh, yeah. So let's talk a little bit about your show earlier. So you said it was your first time performing in main stage at NAMM. That's not a bad first gig.
No, definitely not.
How else has your NAMM been so far?
It has been fantastic and phenomenal just to actually be able to make those face-to-face connections with the exhibitors here and really just, make that impression. And I mean, as a consequence of doing a little bit of Canadian schmoozing yesterday, Black Star was awesome enough to lend me an amp for our performance day.
So
what
cool.
an honor.
That's
because, I mean, they have really strict policies. Obviously, they don't want people taking like an hour and a half for a sound check and being a diva.
Yep.
I totally get that. So they have strict policies in terms of backline. So I was feeling a bit nervous because most guitarists are pretty intent on having their own sound. It's kind of the signature for the music they play, especially with rock, having that certain distortion tone. And I usually play a Black Star HT Soloist 60. Well, you're only allowed to bring your own amp if it's under 40 watts. Mine's 60. I'm like, it's so close. Please, please, can I bring it? They're like, no, not a chance, not a chance.
Oh,
so I go over to the Black Star guys. I meet them. I explain the situation. We hit it off. They're like, we got a 40 watt that's almost identical. You can use it. I'm like, for real? They're like, for real.
And that's the benefit of NAMM, right?
Yeah.
Is the exhibitors are right here, people who make the gear are right here, and you're able to go and make that face-to-face interaction and show really that connection between the gear and the musician. Like
Absolutely.
It puts a really personal spin on it.
Oh,
That's
for sure.
awesome. That's so cool of Black Star to do that. That's awesome. And let's talk a little bit about your guitar. So you are a Daisy Rock artist, and we love Daisy Rock at the Women. We absolutely love her guitars. It's a beautiful guitar.
Thank
number
you.
one. That's like
her name is Glamour because she's so glamorous.
I love that. I love that your guitar has a name.
My microphones are named too, for the record.
I like it. See, that's cool.
I'm cheesy.
So what model is it?
So this is called the Elite Venus.
Cool.
And it's actually an older model, and this is the third one I think I've gotten, but I can't let it go. I love the playability of it.
Yeah,
The frets
neck,
are
right?
super close together. It's got this beautiful inlay of the vines.
Awesome.
So it looks awesome, and it sounds even better.
And
it's super lightweight and really easy to navigate. And for a petite female like me, that's what I want, because I want to be able to go out there and headbang and have a great time. And that's what attracted me to Daisy Rock in the first place.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. That's what Daisy Rock does, right?
Yeah.
They create guitars specifically for women, and they're stunning, and they're also really good guitars. I
Yes.
mean, they sound gorgeous, and I think people sometimes get caught up in the, it's for women, but they're phenomenal guitars, whether you're a man or a woman.
Absolutely.
But it's so nice to not feel, so weighed
Constricted.
down by your instrument.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. And so I'm actually the very first Canadian artist that was ever sponsored by
awesome.
Daisy Rock 14 years ago.
That's
and
fantastic.
to be able to have established and maintained that relationship that 14 years later, I'm performing at Summer NAMM honoring Daisy Rock. Wow. I feel pretty blessed to have that opportunity.
Well, we are really happy to have you and Glamour with us today.
She's happy to have made the trip.
So tell us a little bit about the music that you and Glamour do together. Tell us about your sound. Tell us about, for folks who might not know you or know your music, tell us a little bit about it.
So I'm actually a classically trained vocalist, and when I was a kid, I had my sights on being the next Sarah Brightman and doing Phantom of the Opera and being like, think of me, doing this crazy stuff. And then I fell in love with Veruca Salt after seeing the Volcano Girls music video. These two rockin' chicks on bungee cords, wailing on guitars. I'm like, okay, I need new idols, all right? And I want to be able to mix this awesome vocal training that I've got, but I've got this amazing love for distortion, hard-hitting drums, and just really, really loving that rock. So
It kind of reminded me earlier a little bit of like Evanescence type stuff, because you have that very strong vocal, that sort of that classical mixed with the rough edge.
With the rough edge. And I get like Pat Benatar comparisons a lot.
Yeah, I can
so
see that.
I kind of play my guitar Joan Jett style, very, very chugging oriented, very rhythm oriented, driving that music forward. So a lot of alternative, a lot of hard rock and 90s influences. That's I'm a 90s kid. But then yeah, nice. But vocally, I mean, I look up to the greats, the classics. I mean, I grew up listening to things like Steven Tyler from Aerosmith. That guy can wail. Freddie Mercury from Queen. Pat Benatar. I mean, that girl's a queen, right? And I wanted to be able to sing and project and have that power and mix those beautiful melodies with a hard rock edge. Because I find that oftentimes singers, when they're writing rock music, they feel really limited and it's too monotone.
Sure.
Why not have that dynamic? Take it from the highs to the lows. Make people feel it, because that's the beauty of music. You got to feel that emotion.
Well, you certainly did that today. And tell people at home where they can find you.
So it's really simple. It's just myname.com, Rose like the flower, Cora, Cora, and Perry like Joe Perry from Aerosmith.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rose. Cora Perry, we're here at Summer NAMM. Thank you for talking with us.
Thanks for having me.
All right. All right, and next up, once again, I'm Jenna Payon here with the women at Summer NAMM and BackStory events. And we've got the beautiful Julia Jordan Kamanda next to me. She just played last night at our 2017 She Rocks Summer NAMM Showcase at the Listening Room here in Nashville, Tennessee. Hi, Julia.
Hi.
How you doing? Thank you so much for playing last night. You were phenomenal.
Man, it was so much fun. I was just really glad to be there.
We had a great time. We had a beautiful cast of women players last night.
Including yourself.
Well, thank you very
You're
much.
amazing.
We had all different genres, and I loved your style. I really loved. She's got this beautiful rhythmic guitar. Like I was saying, it sounds like the music you just want to listen to when you're kind of like on the beach.
Yeah.
Like I was like, I could like totally have a cocktail in my hand.
Perfect.
But you have this really deep lyrical complexity as
Right.
well, and I think
Right.
that's the cool thing, to have that really light, positive, feeling, but also kind of dig down deep and have a little bit of depth to it. So tell us a little bit about your music in your own words.
Yeah, I love what you said, because I call my style conscious acoustic soul.
Oh my God, that's perfect.
Isn't that
That's
perfect?
exactly what it is.
So that's what it is. So I like to write music that has a message that makes people feel good. They walk away kind of feeling like lighter.
I did feel good listening
feeling
to your music.
optimistic,
Yeah.
feeling like empowered and inspired.
Absolutely.
And I sort of intentionally create music that does that
Yeah.
for myself. So then it does it for others, I've discovered.
Yeah, it was funny. I could hear some of the, I hate to compare you to men, but I could hear some of that like Jack Johnson sort of thing in your, but in a really thoroughly feminine way that was going nice. Well, we're so
Great,
glad you're
thanks.
here. How has your NAMM been so far? Have you had a good time?
It's been great. I came in, we did the show last night. I've been walking around today just trying out new gear.
Yay,
And I've been
so
really
fun.
exploring loop stations lately, like loop pedals and stuff.
Nice.
I'm
Well,
totally
this is the
geeking out on
place to do
Ed
it.
Sheeran, so he's inspired me
I know,
to explore
right?
the loop pedals. That's been
As
really
a pianist,
fun.
I'm very jealous, and I always want to use those loop pedals. And I know you can use some of them as a pianist, but
I think you probably could.
Yeah.
Maybe with a keyboard. Yeah.
It's very cool. So what? I know you are also a Daisy Rock guitar artist.
I am,
which
yep.
is amazing. We
Yep.
love Daisy Rock. Tell us what you like about Daisy Rock.
Actually, my favorite thing about Daisy Rock is their message. I mean, I think empowering girls to pick up an instrument and tell their own stories is really, really important. So one of the things I do regularly is I teach. I have a number of female students, and I'm watching them see my Daisy Rock guitar with the cute little daisies on the side, or just like black with pink, like totally rocker girl. They are so inspired and connected right away, and they're like, I want to try that, and they pick it up. And then I encourage them to write songs right away.
I love
So like by 9, 10 years old, they're telling their own stories. And I feel like that's really important for women.
That's
and for
so
girls
important.
to start early and just have that be part of your
So is.
experience growing up. It's so important.
To learn that they really can be the person on stage
And
have
yeah,
that,
and to be
have that
encouraged
voice.
to do so.
Yes.
You know,
And to see that modeled in somebody who's
Right.
doing it
Right.
and still doing it and consistently
Right.
living that, I think is really important. And you
Yeah.
also love Taylor as well. I know you
do.
love to play Taylors. So
I do.
So what about Taylor? I know as guitarists, I'm sure you want to switch it up every now and then.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
So what-
yeah.
So
well, the thing I love about Taylor was so funny. When I was graduating college, my dad, Stanley Jordan, he got me a Taylor as my graduation from college present. We went into like
Thanks,
the little.
Dad.
I don't
That's
think
good.
Dad. I still play it. I love it. But we went into like the little music store in Flagstaff, Arizona, went into the acoustic room, closed the door, played every single guitar in that room. We were there for like 2.5 hours.
Nice.
And the Taylor that I play now is the one that I picked it up and didn't make one mistake. And I was like, and to this day, it still feels perfect for my hands. It's the
magic.
414 CE. I love that instrument. And I still play it. It's still my,
that's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so great. And I want to talk about, I'm going to go back to the girl thing for a
Yeah.
little bit, because
Yeah.
one thing that I think is so cool about you is that you are a mother
Yeah.
and you're still out there rocking. And I think that's so
Yeah.
important for women to hear that,
Yeah.
because it's a fact of life that's, and so many women I think feel that they can't be in this industry and have children. But not only are you out there doing it, but you also have a blog called The Music Mommy.
I do.
So can you tell
That's
us
right.
a little bit about your blog?
I started the blog because everything changed for me when all of a sudden I was about to have a kid, and I was like, oh my God, you go through all the changes. My career is going to be over. All these people were expecting me to be this thing, do this thing, and now like this fog settles over my brain. What was I doing again? I couldn't focus. I wasn't creative. And I wanted to create a space where I felt I could create whatever it was that I wanted as a mom. And sometimes I would put poetry on there. Sometimes I would record myself playing a song. And as I started just doing that, my response from women was, this is so great. That's right. I need to remember that I'm a creative being and that I want to go back to my art or my writing or my music. And I'm so glad you're doing this because it's reminding me of who I was, before I had kids, because you forget so much about yourself. And so,
That's really
I took
important.
a break
That's
for a minute.
That's a really important thing to say to women, that
Yeah.
it's okay to still have your identity.
Oh, and it's okay
as a
to,
mother.
and it's also okay to recognize that you need to put it down for a sec, and that it's okay to
focus.
come back to it. It's okay. And I didn't think that was until I realized I couldn't do anything but that. Like, I am a musician. I live it, I breathe it. It's like, for me, it's a spiritual just presence. Music is all around me all the time, whether I'm playing it or not. And so, and we all are creative musical beings.
Absolutely.
And it's good to stay connected
and how
to
great
that.
for your kids to have that example too of you growing up and seeing,
Yeah.
you very self-actualized in doing that in a way that, that's got to have an impact on them too.
Actually, one of the big projects that I'm doing because of having kids is, along with Hal Leonard, we're developing a series of children's books that introduce
Fantastic.
music concepts for kids that are roughly 4 to 7. So the series is called Musical Tales for Modern Minds.
Musical Tales for Modern Minds.
Yeah.
Be on the lookout for that. Be on the lookout for new music from Julia Jordan Commanda.
Yep.
And where can people find you on social media?
They can find me at The Music Mommy. At The
Music
Music
Mommy.
Mommy. Twitter, Facebook, Insta,
I am
whatever
immediately
you want.
subscribing to your blog.
Perfect.
I'm not a mom yet, but I'm
That's all right.
looking forward to reading your stories and hearing more about it.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks.
you
Thanks
so
for
much,
having me.
Julia. Thank you for being here.
Appreciate
It was
it.
great to see you last night
Yeah,
and great
thanks.
to see you today.
Thanks very much.
Thank you. Awesome. Good? Hey. All right, Camille. Thank you. That was great.
Yeah, thanks so much. much. Woohoo! Am I supposed to hand this to someone? Oh, yeah.
Commands!
Not commands.
Commands! The commands! Awesome. Thank you, Julia. Julia, do I have your info? If not, I'll find you at the... Do I have your info? If I don't, I'll find you at the... Perfect. Yeah. Oh yeah, Charlotte, do you want to take off your will you take off your badge just because Laura was saying she might want to use this in other stuff other than just NAMM.
Yeah.
So
It's not a bad thing,
Yay.
trust me.
is there anything else? So I'm gonna briefly talk about your music, what you got coming up.
Yeah.
Talk about
What do you think?
Gear. Talk about a little bit.
Gear is good. Shows not so much because
Okay.
we don't really have a lot of shows right
That's
now.
fine. So we'll skip that.
Definitely like our music
find you.
release and
And that's coming up in August, right?
we'll say end of summer.
End of summer.
Yeah.
All right.
Yay! Thank you so much. It's so cool.
And if there's any... Yay, I'm so excited to interview you guys.
I know this is so
No.
cool. Actually, we don't know each other when we totally do.
Yeah, we're pretending we don't know each other, but we do. I'm here live with the Command Sisters. My name's Jenna Paone, and I'm with the Women's International Music Network. We're here at Summer NAMM 2017, and I'm so psyched that I have the lovely Command Sisters sitting next to me. Hi, ladies.
Hey.
Hi.
So full disclosure, we totally just spent a week on Cape Cod together doing a little songwriters retreat. So we've had a lot of... Whoa.
We've gotten to know each other quite well.
Yeah.
It's been awesome.
We've been hanging out. But let's talk about you guys. Last night you performed at the 2017 She Rocks Showcase at the Listening Room in Nashville. Huge venue. You guys, I know, have spent a ton of time here in Nashville over your careers. What was it like to play at the Listening Room last night?
It was amazing to play the Listening Room. I mean, it's crazy that we've been to Nashville I think probably about 8 times, but we've never actually played there. And I'd only been there once, and I stopped in for a few minutes and then left. But it's such a gorgeous venue. I mean, it's really one of those really, I think, well-known and well-respected venues in Nashville, and it's amazing because people actually do listen.
Yeah.
It's not called the Listening Room for nothing.
And what Laura does with the Women's International Music Network is incredible. It was so cool to see her other events that she puts on. It was really highly anticipated, so the crowd was super into
We
it.
had a
It was
great
so
lineup,
fun.
right? Everybody was awesome. And you
yeah.
guys tore it up at the end and brought the house down. You guys got to check out their music. It's so catchy. It sticks in your head. You can't get rid of it. I love it. So let's talk a little bit about that music. Let's talk about your influences, some of your style, what you guys are really trying to say through your music.
Well, I'd say as influences go, I have a huge obsession with Hall & Oates.
Yes, you can hear it.
I almost wish I was them, reincarnated somehow, which is not possible because they're still around, thank goodness. But I also am a huge Steve Vai fan. But we also love pop music, so it's somehow merging our love for music and instruments with pop music and pop hooks.
Yeah, it's really smart pop. It's pop, but it's really smart. It's very, because you're both such accomplished musicians as well, it's really, it's got a little bit of more depth than the average pop song. You see that verbal twist in that.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's what we kind of want to do is we like taking a mature sort of outlook on pop and combining old sort of retro styles with some of the newer modern pop songs.
Yeah, the hookiness.
Yeah.
It's really cool to be back in Nashville because we actually grew up singing country music. And that's what country music really taught us is being super into the lyrics and learning your instrument and the story and the craft. And yeah, it's so much fun. And also pop music is such an amazing genre. You can be super experimental and try all these different things. So it's really cool to merge the two worlds, I think.
That's awesome. And you've got some new music coming out that folks are going to be able to hear hopefully at the end of the summer, right? So you guys got to check out all their pages, the Command Sisters, on Facebook, on Twitter, on Instagram, so that they can, so you can keep yourself updated with all of their, news about that.
We just filmed a music video, actually.
Awesome.
For a song called Low Profile that we're releasing at the end of the summer. So So
Can't
excited to
wait.
finally share music. It'll be
That's
rad.
awesome.
We got like the rough edit I think this morning, yesterday, and
that's
we're
so
like
exciting.
we're freaking out. Like we're so excited. It's been a long time coming for us. So we're really stoked about finally putting it out there soon. So yeah,
That's great. And how's NAMM been so far? Have you been able to go around and see some of the exhibitors and talk to some of the...
You know what? Like, what is this, day 2 already?
I think so. It
This
feels
is day
like day
2.
4. But
I know. Like, I mean, I'm definitely gonna take the time today to go around. I didn't have time yesterday, but I'm gonna I love it. Like, I feel like it's bigger than I thought it would be because people told me it's smaller than the one in LA.
Yeah.
But it feels like this is it's a great
It's a
size.
good size,
Good
yeah.
size. I'm just excited to be here. I'm definitely gonna check out as much as I can.
It's so cool because we got to know a lot of people from being at Winter NAMM for a couple years now, and we're just running into all of our friends that we got to meet throughout the last couple years. So
That's
it's been a lot of
great.
fun.
And let's talk about gear for a second. Can you tell us a little bit about, the gear that you play, what you're really excited to, who you're excited to connect with here in regards to that?
Well, Martin Guitar has been such incredible supporters
Awesome.
of us. We've gotten to know Chris Martin and everybody there. We've gone to the factory, and we actually met them at Winter NAMM.
Cool.
Chris was grabbing a taco and saw us performing on the main stage.
Nice.
And so it was just a crazy story.
That's
and
awesome.
Very, very kind. And
Not a bad person to see you play and have you become a Martin artist.
I know, but we're also huge lovers of PRS guitars. They've been very supportive as well and really awesome. And our PRS guitar is actually like jet black, so it matches all of our clothing. I know. It's pretty
They
awesome.
love the black and white and the
Perfect.
red, and they look good in it.
They're both very classic instruments. We love them so much.
I love
Feels
it.
like an extension of ourselves,
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's so great. Anyone fun? Have you met it? I know you said you didn't have too much time to go around. Anyone new, or maybe we'll see you later in the week?
Anyone? Well, Dina Gretsch and
Yeah.
Fred Gretsch are the nicest people. We've
Aren't they
taken lots of
lovely?
selfies with them.
Yeah, we met up with them. We saw them. I mean, kind of the last few days we've seen them, and we just saw them at the Bixby, pickups
Cool.
booth. So I mean, and they're so nice. So we're recognizing a lot of people actually.
Making new friends. That's what it's all
Yeah.
about. All right, guys. So tell us where people can find you.
Right.
You can find us at Command Sisters everywhere.
Everywhere.
That's it.
Literally just
Instagram,
Command Sisters.
Facebook,
It's
Twitter.
our last name.
Their
We're
Instagram
sisters.
feeds are highly entertaining. I suggest looking it up just to see what they're wearing and what they're doing with their makeup, because these ladies are cool and they and they always have something new and fun going on. And their music's awesome. New music's coming out soon. Follow them. Make sure you keep up. We'll check out the video for remind me of the song name.
Low profile.
Low profile.
Low profile.
Yes. Low profile. I was gonna do the dream one. Low profile. Yes. Yes. Next one.
Yeah.
All right. The Command Sisters, everyone, here at Summer NAMM 2017. Thanks so much.
We did it. That was so fun.
All right, and we are wrapping. Do you want us to say? Oh, so we're gonna wrap up today, I guess. Then at the 2017 NAMM show. This is it for us today, right? Thanks for having us today. I guess goodbye from day 2 from NAMM 2017, and we'll be back here tomorrow and starting this all over again. So we'll see you for more interviews then. BackStory events, the Women's International Music, and NAMM 2017.
Okay, now we're done. Oh my god.
Oh my god.
I know.